Hey everybody, this is Rockman again. I lost the server. Hold on, I gotta get in the chat. Okay, so got to mention that my internet has been really crappy lately. So this may happen a bunch.
Do I need to restart everything?
I don't know. Hold on, let's see. We'll see if I can just load back in. So hopefully we're gonna be doing a little bit of a multiplayer tutorial because Chris just got this game and hold on. Yeah, hopefully this will be working. My internet is just it goes out for like no more than 10 seconds at a time, and it's just enough to be annoying. Alright, I'm gonna have to reload the game, I think.
It looks like there's a bunch of options to either fight people.
You cut out. You've been saying that a lot too.
I said it looks like there's a lot of options to fight and
To fight or what?
befriend.
Yeah. That's the thing with Germany is that when I played it, when I played as Germany before the I think no, it was during. It was the most recent DLC actually did add the expanded free. But the way that I did it, I played as a fascist, but I didn't attack anyone. I purely made friends. I did Anschluss Austria. No, did I? I think I think I Anschluss Austria, but I did not. Did not demand the Sudetenland. I did not demand Danzig, and so I think that's and eventually, if you just start making every other country in Central and Northern Europe fascist, like peacefully, then Britain will attack you.
That sounds like it might actually be really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And it's actually probably to your advantage because I think Japan, like, the United States will probably only join if it's a defensive war. I don't think I did the thing where I made Japan my friend.
Did you make China your friend instead?
I think so, but I think China lost, so it didn't end up doing anything.
Because I would probably keep America on.
I mean, if you just don't, well, I mean, if China is rarely any good because they're super corrupt and stuff.
No, but China was what drew America into conflict with Japan.
Yeah.
China's side, then you probably won't be fighting.
Yeah, I don't think they even really considered doing that much with it. It was more like to Pearl Harbor or not to Pearl Harbor. Alright, I should at least turn the game music on, shouldn't I?
So what's this like puppet thing?
So, it's generally a better idea to make puppets. So, puppets give you a lot of their resources for free, or and they give you part of their manpower, and they also have their own military. Where if you just conquer land, you don't get much of their manpower because why would they want to join up with the guys they just conquered when they could fight for their country, even though it's put under management by the guys that just. So you're fighting for the guys that conquered you, but you're fighting for your country too. You know.
Mm.
So unless you want to have a big, pretty single country. Damn it! Hold on. Okay, I don't know. Okay. My internet might have crapped out for a second because I didn't even. I mean, if it drops every single time I lose the internet, I don't think it's gonna be happening.
I'm guessing this glowing red area is troops.
What is happening? Okay, I think you do have to rejoin because I can't find you.
Okay, let me exit the menu then.
Yeah, that's the demilitarized land. So you can't send your troops into there until you do your first focus. So as you can see, everything that you've got there is generally historical things or turned a bit in a different direction. Like Germany, with being able to do things more, like not actually declaring war on people, is probably the biggest deviation that the history that you can actually get in the base game. Where in the DLC, Germany you could choose to either remilitarize the Rhineland or oppose Hitler, and that starts a civil war where you play as the German military junta, where you are von Mackensen, the dude that wears the pirate hat from World War One.
Nice.
And after you win that, you choose to either become a democracy or to reinstate the Kaiser. And that gives you different ways that you could play. Alright, like as I said with Britain as well, you can... right now, it's essentially just do British thing. It's just like do what they do historically, but in the DLC... it allows stuff where you can, like, formally unify the British Empire into, like, you actually annex, like, everything that you've got. And your name changes and stuff, like, you could become the Empire. That's actually what it's called if you're a fascist. Like, the British Commonwealth, things like that. You can... become communist, you can become fascist, you can decolonize like heavily, like you give Northern Ireland back.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that. The United States, there is a mechanic for Congress in the new DLC, where you need certain amounts of votes. You kind of need to. It's pretty basic politicking, and you can attack. You can kind of like take the New Deal to an extra step and start doing a lot of pretty centralized, like you become communist. There are other ones you can become fascist, and there's a civil war one way or another about it.
Okay, the server's re-up, so.
All right, let's see if I can find you. Alright, I actually get that. There we go. Alright, that seems to be working. It looks like I'm connecting now. So they added a tree to the Netherlands in the DLC. Okay. Yep, I'm ready when you are.
Any interesting stuff for that?
Yeah, you kind of have the choice to defend native Netherlands really hard, like flood roads and stuff, so Germany can't get in. It's really difficult for them to push through. Or you can essentially just yo, Furry, how's it going, dude? You could essentially just what's it? Go into, you can exile yourself and make your capital in the Dutch East Indies. You could get Wilhelmina in charge, like formally. You go back to the monarchy. You can side with Germany, become communist. So I'm doing some multiplayer with Chris. He just got the game. He's playing as Germany, and I'm gonna be Italy, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of a introduction here. All right, so I'm already at war with Ethiopia. So have you played with like military fronts at all?
I don't really understand it. The tutorial didn't really go beyond draw the.
Okay, I only got about a third of that. But so you. All right.
Comandi.
Gonna.
Pronto all'azione.
So national focus doesn't matter which one I pick.
Okay, so national focuses. So this is just a bunch of trees, a bunch of that you that one leads to another, and the ones that have an exclamation mark and two arrows pointing to one or the other, they are mutually exclusive. Like for you, like it's in order to remilitarize the Rhineland, I think you could just do that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a reason to not do that one right now? So they all go from top to bottom. So you don't.
Increases world tension.
Yes, but that's gonna happen one way or another. You could always just not do this stuff and just immediately try and declare war on, like, Italy. Now, I don't even know if you can do. Well, I think you could probably just try it on any country. I don't think you need a land border. If you wanted to attack the Swiss immediately, then you could just click on them, and then you could start trying to justify a war goal with political power. But there's really not too much of a point in that. And generally, I like to go with the focuses. There's probably more optimal ways by actually declaring, by fabricating on people. I don't like really fabricating until I run into someone that I don't have a focus to attack with. So, if you want to look at the stuff that you have afterwards, like you could do the Anti-Comintern Pact, which, or you just don't want. There are a few things that are probably not the best thing that you would want to do immediately. You could also do the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. You would go through army innovations down to the treaty with the USSR, which gives you a tech bonus. And a lot of the things that Germany has require a certain amount of manpower in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, right now you could do the Rhineland, but in order to do the Anschluss, you need to have enough troops. Alright.
Anschluss is Austria, right?
Yep. You annex Austria, quote-unquote, peacefully. So, in order to get troops in the field, you need to go to the little tank with the arrow next to it, underneath the number of factories. Those buttons on the top, it's the one second from the right.
Okay.
And then a window will show up that says recruit and deploy. And then that will say, and then there's reinforcements and then upgrades. Those are bars that show how much how much equipment you need in order for your forces to be fully reinforced and fully upgraded. And there are 3 bubbles on the right that determine whether it is low, medium, or high priority to reinforce or upgrade either of the things. So then on the right, you've got a window that shows different kinds of divisions, the division templates you have. So I'm sure you've got like regular divisions, you've got panzers and the like. So, well, first of all, just click on edit for, say, whatever normal troops you've got, and it'll bring up the division designer. So right now, my units are only... So one of the keys here is to look at combat width, which is at the bottom of the... Well, okay, on the right there is a chart that has all the statistics for these guys.
Ugh.
You'll get used to it. It seems like a lot at first, but it's not that big of a deal. So the middle column at the bottom is combat width. So what is ideal is that it is I believe multiples of a multiple of okay, so the best case scenario is that every one of your divisions is 40 width, because like that optimizes how much damage they can do, and like no wasted space or anything like that.
Okay, so we want a division.
Alright, so right now mine are at 12, and I've got only infantry in this. So I don't think you have any army experience, so you probably won't be able to change anything yet.
Mine is 18.
No, you have 18 combat width?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want, if it can't be at 40, 20 is also good. You may want to do 20 if your units are in places that have high attrition, so that they die less just by standing around. Or if you have so little manpower that you want to have you want to cover a wider front that you wouldn't be able to do if like all the dudes that the same amount of manpower if it was in a 20 width division were in 40, it would just be like way more condensed. You're Germany, so right now manpower is not going to be too much of an issue. It could be later on if the war gets prolonged, but right now it's not an issue, especially if we blitzkrieg everybody well enough. So once you have military experience, you will get military experience from you will get army experience from the Rhineland, so it probably would be a good idea to do that first.
So not any of the others.
Probably
Just
not.
the-
Although the army innovations gives you 10 experience and also gives you increased war doctrine research speed. So there are a lot of different kinds of technology that you can do here. Since you hold on, so the combat width of your divisions you said was 18?
Yes.
Okay, so you could go ahead and do that, but personally I feel like it'd be better to just wait a little while longer and just get enough that you can at least just get that up to 20, which isn't like once you have 5 that should be able to do
You
it.
cut out there.
Okay. My internet crapped a little bit. So you I'd say that if you could, it's your choice whether you want to go for army innovations, which would give you a little bit more and would also make tech go a little bit faster for you, or if you just want to go right for the Rhineland. Political power. Oh, sorry. Really yawning right now. Okay, so
What about this naval branch? It looks like that would half the time.
Naval branch, which one? The one on the far right. That gives you naval dockyards, which right now we don't need to worry about.
Okay.
You are never going to be it'll take a long time of building up in order to actually be able to contest the British. So as opposed to trying land by sea. If you want to grab London, do it by air.
Okay.
And let's not even worry about taking London quite yet. So either I'll let you decide whether you want to go for the army innovations. You could also do the 4-year.
Yeah, what would be the benefit of that track?
Air innovations or army
No,
innovations?
4-year plan.
Oh, that's a lot of building up your industry and the like. So the 4-year plan, first of all, gives you makes researching industry faster. You can build civilian factories, refineries, factors. Autarky makes a lot of stuff faster. A lot of excavation go faster. And eventually, oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. My dad came in. Could you start?
Okay, like starting about the 4-year plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so the so all of the stuff is building up your industry and stuff. Going down the middle path starts to make, you can make Hungary and Romania start to become fascist as well, and they will be able to join you diplomatically. And on the, yeah, a lot of this is building up your, building stuff up domestically.
That sounds like a good idea.
It is. You definitely want to go down some of that, probably before the war starts. It's really your decision when you want the war to start. Unless, like, yeah. Unless the Soviets invade Poland and you want to help Poland for whatever reason. So I think it's a good time to talk about research. That's the second button from the left, that you have a certain number of research slots that you can research anything in like research equipment, support companies, armor, artillery, land doctrine, naval stuff, naval doctrine, aircrafts, air doctrine, engineering, and industry. Personally, I like to go for industry first. Actually, no, I like to go for engineering first. A good one to do is electronic mechanical engineering, because that just increases the research speed. So it's, I feel there's no reason not to just crank out as much researching faster as you possibly can faster. I also
I'm
like
guessing it would be a bad idea to immediately try to
do what?
atomic.
Oh yeah, there's not really much of a reason to work on that. Like, you were, this is like years. It would take like 12 years at this point. That's 4 years ahead of time before you actually start to get, like, it becomes faster to research. So don't worry about nukes yet. So
electronic engineering.
yeah, because that will increase the speed of your research for pretty much like very little cost. You've also got a lot of slots, so you can upgrade other things. On the far right tab, I like to go for basic machine tools, which increase your production cap, and that's, I'll get into that in a little bit. This is a lot to actually I prefer maybe construction 1, which makes it faster to build factories. And then on the far left, I like to go with support weapons, which basically just increases how well your infantry fights. And like, you could improve your tanks if you want. That's a third from the right. Artillery. I like to go for like the interwar artillery, which just makes your current artillery better.
Mhm.
So hold on one moment.
What
I'm
about
kinda
the
just-
land doctrine?
Okay. All right. So land doctrine. That is like all the doctrines determine the way that you fight, pretty much. Like you have mobile warfare doctrine, you know, blitzkrieg and all about going fast. It's those are always good ones to work on. That generally increases the way that you're you're geared to fight in one way, and yeah, like, that improves that way you fight, pretty much. If you want to go for one of those, that's pretty good. Like every country, well, most countries have one that they start with. You could always, so they pretty much have one step ahead in one of them. You could always just go to a different one if for some reason you don't want to go with mobile warfare doctrine. Like I start with one step finished in Grand Battle Plan, but I don't really think there's much of a reason to deviate from there. Okay. So I believe you have some free civilian factories right now.
Oh, I'm still picking my
Okay.
research.
But by the way, Furry, I got back into playing Stellaris last night, and I got all the DLC and everything, and yeah, I'm really into it. I'm definitely going to be playing that a whole bunch more.
Pronto. Ordini. Attento.
What do military police do?
They keep down unrest in countries in territory that you have occupied.
That sounds like a very Nazi German thing to have.
Pretty much, but I don't really think it's that necessary. At least if you're being quick about it. They generally
On something else.
what resistance generally does is just ruin factories in the land that you have occupied.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really think about occupied factories all that much. It would probably be useful eventually, but not for a while. That's something that I hope they expand on. That's one of the things that I think is very lacking in this game right now. I'm not saying the game is worse for it inherently, but it's just like intel and spying was very important in World War II, especially if you're the British. So I feel there should be more stuff to it. Like I think that would be a good way to, like, right now I feel like the game is balanced. It's it's more in favor of the Axis at the moment. I feel like it's pretty easy for them to get control of most of Europe, and I think it's still pretty tough to actually poke in. Like either the AI is too good at stopping like naval landings and the like, or the AI is just incapable of making good naval landings. So yeah, I feel like espionage could be a good thing to do there. Like, that would be one way to support insurgents. Actually, like, maybe sabotage other things. Like, right now, the only kind of spying that we really have is in the technologies, and it's kind of lackluster. That, continuing down the electronics branch, there is like computing, and there are two branches that go off of both of that, encryption and decryption. And eventually everyone just researches all of those, and then that pretty much makes decryption pointless, because the encryption is better than the decryption.
Okay, so for the national focus, I'm thinking I do the Rhineland thing, and then I
Do the Rhineland and what?
Rhineland, and then while I'm waiting to have enough troops annex Austria, I do like the stuff.
Do what stuff? Sorry.
4-year plan.
Sure. Not a
That
bad.
seems like a solid idea.
Yeah, probably not too bad. Alright, you can choose that.
Comandi.
Okay, let's see, what else are these stuff. Okay. So it says no divisions in basic training.
Okay. You will probably just wait until you can actually edit your divisions a little bit before we work on that.
Okay.
So, let's go to... Oh, Lord. Oh, wow, that was actually in DLC, wasn't it? Oh, wait, no, it wasn't. Okay. Got me worried there for a second. Alright, so, anyway, something else. Construction. Like, right now, you probably have a little tab that says free civilian factories. That's probably
Yes, I
towards the
do.
left. Alright, so you want your civilian factories to always be doing something. So, right now, civilian factories make... Alright, so your military factories are things that make guns and tanks and all that stuff. Civilian factories, you use that they're kind of used as a trade resource of sorts. At oh man, okay, let's get into trade first, I suppose. So trade is the third one from the left. And you have certain amounts of resources that all exist in one tile or another. Like right now, I am lacking 3 rubber and 2 chromium. I'm sure you have you probably are lacking some... You will be lacking oil, and you're probably lacking rubber too, I'd imagine.
I have a tiny bit of oil. Lacking 5 rubber.
Alright, and you're missing rubber. Okay. So that is all. It's good to trade with other countries for the stuff that you need. Like, say if you needed iron, you would go to where? Sweden. And they would be happy to give it to you because they're neutral. But you're pretty good on iron because you're Germany. So you would click on a resource that you would need, and then it'll show you what countries have all of that. Like right now, you could trade, I could get rubber from France, and that would kind of give them access to civilian factories of mine. So I'm essentially using those as a resource to get those military resources that I need. Also, what your civilian factories do, so that you don't just give them all away immediately, is that you use your civilian factories to build military factories. Actually, no, that's not right. Yeah, civilian factories All right. What was it? Civilian factories. Yeah, use civilian factories to build more civilian factories and military factories. So, and you can have 15. It's a good idea to have at least 15 civilian factories working on other things at any point in time. And every little tile has a certain like efficiency that is determined by how good their infrastructure is. So it's generally a good idea to build civilian factories in provinces that have higher infrastructure. So like I'm gonna build one in Tuscany, which is plus 80%, one in Rome, which is plus 80%. I've got two that are already finished up that are 70 and 80. I'll do one in Emilia Romagna, which is 70%. And that would get me up to then we get to 14, and then I'm gonna go ahead and build one more in Abruzzi. That would get me up to.
So
What?
how can you tell where you should build a civilian factory?
There are when you are in the construction mode, which is the fourth little button from the right, third from, yeah. I mean it's the one that looks like a big old digger.
Mm-hmm.
That you then it'll take you to a map mode that has a bunch of green provinces and maybe a few blue ones, and then you click on the civilian factory button, which is the orange factory with the steel girder, that and then you click on the provinces that you want to have civilian factories built in, which are probably ones that have higher infrastructure, which will it'll tell you what has higher infrastructure based on like the percentage that you get in any of these.
Okay, so wait, click on infrastructure?
No, click on civilian factories, which is in the middle. It's got the orange factory thing with the girder.
Okay. And then you want to build them in places that have like high?
Yes.
So
I'd
okay,
imagine.
so like Brandenburg and Westphalen.
Yeah,
would be right where I would want to put them.
I'd imagine so.
Like, how many factories should I have?
15 is a good place to start.
Okay, so it says I have 31.
All right, so that's already pretty good.
So I don't need to build any.
You may want to just go right to military factories in that case. More military factories is always good. Military factories is what builds you the stuff that you actually need.
Okay, how do I see how many military?
That one, it doesn't tell you right here. If you want to see how many military factories you have, you can go to production, which is the one to the right of the construction tab, and it's towards the top. You will see a little green military factory, and then it says military factories.
So I have 28.
Cool. So yeah, you start off pretty good, and so you're gonna want
to
to
build something different then.
No, you want as many as possible. Like your choice is pretty much either build military factories or civilian factories, or if you really want higher infrastructure, you can do that.
Oh,
But
hey, this synthetic refinery, that says it. So that would solve my.
it would, yes. They're not the most efficient things, but you can definitely build some of those if you want. It only gives you a few versus like trading civilian factories to another country for the resource. But we're the Axis, so we're not really going to be getting many of those.
So I want to build then Since I'm missing 5 rubber, I want to build 5 of them.
They will become more efficient later on, I think. Let's see. It would be in the tech. Like, if you go down in the farthest right industry tech, there's synthetic oil, and that will, like, give you... You can go down a tree, and that will eventually make them more efficient. Like, your synthetic refineries will eventually get you 1 more rubber, and so on, like that. So if you want to build synthetic factories, that's fine, but it's like, you are going to be building a lot more, and you're going to need a lot more than just what is going to get you down to a net zero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the instant you want to build any mobile infantry, you're pretty much going to require like 5 more rubber. Probably more. I'm just kind of ballparking here.
But it wouldn't be a bad place to start to have some.
Well, you really don't need any right now because it's going to be a while before you're going to be at war. Right now, you just kind of want to build up your forces. Like, you're going to want to... You just want manpower in the field at the moment. Like, once you actually are getting close to wanting the fight, that is probably when you're going to want to build panzers and stuff that are going to require rubber.
So I should just build factories then.
Yeah. Generally, I don't actually build too many synthetic rubber or oil places. I find it more useful to actually just get the resource at where it naturally comes from.
So which one's better then? Civilian or military?
It sounds like you've got a good number of civilian. You could probably just go right to military factories right now.
And then I want to try and get rubber from someone to trade with.
For now, that would probably be good. Like, you could probably trade with France for the moment, but needless to say, it's going...
with the Dutch East Indies.
Yeah, that would also be good. If they're overseas, though, you are going to need convoys, which will get destroyed by the British. So either way, you're going to be cut off eventually.
But then if I do British Malaya, then they're not going.
They are a puppet of the British, so they are also overseas and also going to be cut off once you're at war with the Brits.
Well, it says this could be done by land, so...
Oh yeah, I suppose, because they are... Half of British Malaya is technically on this landmass, so yeah. So you wouldn't actually need the boats for that one, but again, just as useful as getting it from France. So, I mean, whatever. If you want to use your civilian factories for that right now, you can go for it.
Okay, so like, what other trade goods are good to get?
Unless you're lacking anything, it's not that big of a deal. You only really need as much as you need for yourself. Having more of one resource that you aren't using doesn't actually give you anything unless you want more civilian factories, which would allow you to build more military factories, which you would like. If you have more resources that people want, you essentially trade. You can it like automatically trades if they want it, depending on your laws. They can they essentially just take it, and then in exchange you get civilian factories, which give you you will be able to build more stuff quickly. You'll be able to make more factories to make more guns, or to make more, or to improve your infrastructure.
Pronto, signore.
Yeah, let's see. I still have a couple civilian factories.
Yeah, all of your civilian factories should always, well, I mean, your civilian factories are always working on something. It's like they're kind of bunched up together in like groups of 15. So it's like once you have 15 working on one thing, that is how many can work on. Like right now I've got 11 civilian factories that are all working on another civilian factory in Tuscany. And then once that one's finished, that will make 12, and eventually I'll get up to 15. But then if I were to have a 16th one, only 15 would be working on the next thing in the queue, and then one would be working on the second thing in the queue. So you said you have like 30?
Yeah.
So you've got two things that are being worked at maximum capacity right now. If you were to have 31, it would be working on a third one very slowly.
So it says that 9 are doing.
What was that?
9 consumer goods,
Yeah.
15 for construction, and then 3 for
All right.
So that leaves me 5 to do other stuff with. So what should I have those?
Well, I mean, if you are building something, they're always building something. Like, I think that it's like, yeah, okay, so it's like, the actual total that I have are 20. And 9 of mine are going to consumer goods, and then 11 are going to construction. So that leaves me with 11, I think. Is that how the math works? Yeah, sure. No. 9 are going to consumer goods, and 11 are working on construction. Okay, so consumer goods is essentially just a modifier that's like, this is bad. Like, these are going to essentially nothing for the sake of this game. So there are modifiers that you get through one thing or another that lower consumer goods, which makes it so that your civilian factories do other things, which is construction, or you trade them for resources. You can so ideally your consumer goods is 0, and so that no one will ever consume anything. They're only working for the good of the state, the glory of me. I mean, our people. Yes, our people. So yeah, I mean, your factories are always, if you have something queued up, they're always working on something. You don't allocate them like 5 go to here, 4 go to here, and stuff like that. It's always whatever is at the top of the queue.
But if I don't have anything,
If you don't have anything queued up, they're doing absolutely nothing.
what you're saying?
Say again?
So if I don't have anything queued, I should just queue something.
Yeah. It's like if you have like 1 million military factories, 1 million civilian factories, and you somehow have more slots, go ahead and do more infrastructure or air bases or anti-air or whatever. Always be building something. Eventually, I mean, if the game goes on forever, you may actually be completely filled up on slots. You can build absolutely no more there's no more room to build anything, and then, sure, yeah, whatever. by that point, like, the game is probably almost over.
Okay, where should I have my military factory?
Military factories. So that's where you would want to go to the production tab, which is the third from the right.
Mm-hmm.
It will show you all the things that are being constructed. So you've got like infantry equipment, support equipment, light tanks, motorized, close air planes, and there are, in order to allocate military factories to any given thing you want to make, you would like push that little plus sign on that equipment. Like, I just put all the rest of my military factories into making more guns because I need a lot of upgrades for my guns. Because that little number in the right by the picture, the one in the bottom, like down and to the right of the picture of the thing you want to be making, shows you that you want that number to be at 0. If it's at 0, that means that all of your weapons are fully upgraded and all of your troops are fully equipped. But right now, there are 2,700 guys that need upgraded guns, so I put all my factories to work on that. Right now,
wait, so which number do I want at 0?
you want the number that is in the bottom, like there's a picture of like a gun, and then in that rectangle, the one that is in the bottom right, you want to be at 0. You want that to be as low as possible. And once that's at 0, yeah. So
the being stockpiled?
yes, like actually, if it's being stockpiled, that means you have an excess of it, and you just gotta, and you're just putting them in a warehouse somewhere for when people need them. So if that is what's happening, then you want to find something. If you want to have a whole bunch stockpiled, that's fine, but if you have something that you are lacking in, then you would want to be building a lot of that.
So, like, my panzers, that I would put factories there.
Yes, if you want to.
Says it be upgrade.
If you want to upgrade or just make more of your Panzer tanks, then you would push that little plus sign, and then they would go, like, your factories will start working on Panzers. And that will very quickly start to create a larger deficit of, like, rubber and steel and stuff. If you don't have a lot, you've got a lot of steel.
I've got a massive amount of.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about steel. It's rubber that will become a problem. Actually, right now, at least my light tanks don't even use iron, or use rubber.
Yeah, mine don't either. They just use the steel.
Okay, I forget if the tanks use rubber at all, but it's like motorized do use rubber.
Yeah, like all the planes use it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, tanks don't actually use rubber. Forgot about that. I feel like they'd use rubber somewhere, right? Like, are the treads rubber? At least somewhat?
Thought they were.
Yeah, I guess for the sake of this game, they aren't. The light tanks use steel, heavy and medium tanks use chromium. Actually, no, heavy tanks use chromium, medium tanks use tungsten, as well as steel. Okay. You have any other questions?
Hold on.
Attento.
Okay, so it says that I need 720 to upgrade my panzers.
Pronto, signore.
720. All right, that is the number. There is how many there are that need upgrading. That's not
Oh, okay.
saying how many factories you need to do it.
Pronto.
So that number will slowly go down as you are making more and losing fewer.
Pronto all'azione.
Okay, I think I get that.
All right.
Attento.
Okay.
Attento.
So the more factories I have down.
The more factories you have, what?
More factories I have working on one of the.
The more factories you have working on it, the faster that number will go down.
Okay.
Pronto.
All right, sorry, you cut out like twice, so I just wanted to say what I thought you were talking about.
Okay, I think I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Avanzate.
No.
Pronto, signore.
And we haven't even talked about combat yet. It's gonna be a while before you're into that.
Pronto all'azione.
Okay, what about the document?
Pronto, signore.
The docks, those work the same way as the military factories, just you're gonna have fewer of them because, you know, that you don't need to make 1,000,000 battleships, and you certainly will not be doing that. So you have a certain number of dockyards and you allocate them as you want. And different boats do different things. I honestly can't tell you with confidence exactly what is the best way to do it, because I have not played with the pretty complex naval changes that are going on here. That's something you're just gonna have to look up on your own or just deal with later. I think like battleships are I hear like take way too, like, they take a lot of time to build, and they're generally probably not worth it, because it's like they're really good, but it'd be better to just build like a dozen destroyers than like one battleship, I think. Like
So, why do I have like 4 identical submarines?
that's because they're I don't know why they have it organized like this, but I mean, they're just it's, I guess, so they could build 2 at the same time, because unlike up here where it's like I'm building 6.84 rifles in one day, I'm putting multiple naval dockyards to work on the pieces to build one ship. Like any one of these productions here is one singular vessel, and you can make it so that when that one is done, it's going to make more once that one is finished. But right now, it's only doing a single boat. So if you want to make more at the same time, you would make a second one.
So these battleships are going to take a ridiculously long time to finish. Would I put my dockyards to work on them so I could actually see these before the game is over?
Maybe, like, if you want to try that, but just from what I understand, from what I've been told, they're not quite worth the effort that you put into them. Unless you're like the United States that has 1,000,000 dockyards. And also, and it's very important that they contest the waters versus Germany, who you need to put a lot of effort into fighting Britain on the water. If anything, it'd be best to like make a bunch of destroyers or submarines just to mess with their supply lines.
Submarines sound interesting.
Yeah.
And since I'm not doing anything else with these dockyards, I guess I might as well speed them up.
Ordini?
Okay, what unassigned divisions?
Ordini?
Alright, so right now that's not that important because you're not going to be going to war for a while.
Okay.
But, I guess once... Once you demilitarize the Rhineland, we'll talk about that. We'll establish a front against France so that you can punch through the Maginot. That's a lie, you're going to want to go around it.
You know, yeah, that's what they did.
Of course. Neutrality will save Belgium.
Okay. I think that's all of the alert. I think we've taken care of all of the alerts.
Okay. And now we can unpause, and I can fight myself Ethiopia.
Pronto
Okay.
all'azione.
Oh, hold on, let's get a guy in charge here.
So, is there anything I should be doing diplomatically?
Not really. There's not much that you can do that would make anything easier or change anything, because this is we're on historical focus, so it's not like you're gonna be able to just politely ask France to join the Axis or anything. Yeah, diplomacy in this game doesn't really work quite that way.
Okay. So it's not like EU4 where that's the most.
Yeah, it's basically, alright, here are the strong guys. They're on the... I want to side with them in case another strong guy attacks me. Like, if Finland could be non-aligned, they could summon... If they become democratic, and Germany is at war with the Soviet Union attacks Finland, even though Finland may be democratic or non-aligned or whatever, they would side with the guys that are already fighting the Soviets. Like,
Okay, so then faction.
factions, yeah. So that's essentially you've got the Axis, and eventually, I mean, I think hypothetically you could just ask me if I wanted to join, or I could just ask you. But it will
How do I
increase
see,
world
like-
tension. Let's
how do
not
I
bother
see,
with
like,
it.
factions?
What?
How do I like to see like who's in what faction?
Alright, so there is a map mode that is the little on the far right. There's that sort of rectangle in the bottom right corner. There is a star there, and that will bring up a map mode of the factions. So we've got you in the Axis, the Allies are Britain and all their little guys, the Comintern is the Soviet Union, Mongolia, and Tanutuva. The real heads behind all of it.
Okay, and then everybody else isn't in.
Yeah. In the historical stuff, it will pretty much only stay these, but other factions can show up if you're going ahistorical, if you go down certain focuses, if you've got the DLC and stuff. Like Poland, do they have a... Yeah, Poland has a focus where they could remain non-aligned and then form their own faction with the other Baltic states. but they're not going to do that. It's also not very strong because it's when the strongest one of 4 that you're fight in this faction is Poland. No, like it's a cute gesture. That's about it. Romania sometimes could join, but I don't know if they would do that with the AI, with the non-historical, with historical on. So mind if we turn up the speed a little bit? Kind of just waiting here.
How many?
I can just turn it up to like 3.
Okay, that sun is really trippy.
Oh, you still have the day-night things on. You can toggle that in the little. There are 6 buttons in the very bottom right. You can just click the bottom left one, and that will make it so that it's not, so that it always looks like daytime.
Is this actually important to a mechanic?
No, it just is annoying if it's always like flashing day and night, especially if it's at a very high speed.
Comandi.
Okay, so how do I toggle it?
There's a button in. Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Pronto.
All right, so there's also one thing that you could be doing right now that could make your troops better, and that is drilling them. So if you select the dudes, select all of your units, and you click on the new army button.
Okay, so I select everyone.
Sure, for the moment, because you don't need to have them on any front or anything. So you select.
New army.
Yep. And then put a general in charge. It can be Rommel, it could be whoever. And then battle plans will, like a bar will show up above the generals, and it'll show you all the things you can do with them. For now, just click on the one on the far right, which will have them exercise. This will gain them experience, so that so that they will go from green to trained to regular, and they won't go any better than that.
Where is this? Okay, so I've got a general.
Okay, and you clicked him, so he's in charge of that army.
Yeah.
All right, and then all the divisions in that army have popped up in a box on the left. A bar at the top above where the general is. At the far left of that bar is the exercise button, and that will have your guys gain experience up to the point of being regulars.
So I just click that and let them go?
Yep. It will stop,
Ordini.
and this spends equipment because you have to fire something while you're training. So if they are no longer, once they are regulars, it's probably a good idea to have them stop.
Pronto. Sì, signore. Sì, signore. Pronto. Pronto, signore.
Does it matter that I have more than the
More than what?
24?
For now, no.
Pronto all'azione. Sì, signore.
I don't think being above the limit makes it so they don't train as quickly. So that only matters for when you're actually in combat.
Attento.
Okay, so I noticed that like the borders actually
The border is what?
change.
Yes. Yeah. That it's not like hashed like it is in the rest of it. So like for all intents and purposes, I do own the land that I'm taking right now. it will function as my own territory. Once the war is over, that yeah, only a few things will change once I formally own the land in a peace deal.
I guess you could talk me through some of the combat.
All right. So the way that I did it, the way you do it, is that you have all your guys selected and you have them in an army.
Vi respingiamo, signore.
That army, because I'm fighting on two fronts right now, normally if you're fighting on one front with a number of armies, I like to put them under a field marshal and have that field marshal make his own offensive front, make his own line, and then they could all push together. But right now I'm fighting on two sides, so I'm just sticking with the one of them in each. So both these guys, there is a button that is the fourth from the right on the battle plans bar. That will make it so that every border that you have, every land border, appears as a dotted line. So, like, for, hold on a second.
Ordini. Pronto.
So, like, right now, it's like, if you select that army, go to the front, and then you click on that border, that will create a front along that border. And from there, you will
Formazione.
select an offensive line, which is right next to the front line, and then you right click and draw that along the place that you want them to go. So that offensive line is basically where they will stop. And then once you are at war and you can push in, like you want to start marching in, there's a little arrow above that general, and that will show you the value of the plan, like if it seems good or not. And you click that arrow and your troops will start marching in. All right. Yep, and the Rhineland has been remilitarized. And yeah.
Okay, so that means I get to pick a new one.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. Annoying the Soviet Union doesn't. Good idea.
Generally not. And you need a certain number of troops before you'll be able to Anschluss Austria.
So should I go for Japan or China?
I don't know. I don't really find it all that useful to be friends with them. You can if you'd like. I guess Japan would probably be the most logical choice. Although that might bite you in the butt somehow. You could always just go for the 4-year plan, as you said before. Army innovations is also good. So now you have army experience. Army experience is what you use to change your division designs. So right now I have 32 army experience. Way more than you. Ha ha, look at me. I'm the real future leader of the world, Mr. 'Cause I conquer things. Not you. You don't conquer anything. You're Germany. So I'm going to change the combat width of my units. So the way you do that is that it's got some units that are already in there in the division designer. And I'm going to go ahead and click on these arrows. And I am going to, let's start by adding some artillery. That is going to increase the combat width, which is fine. But it also increases soft attack a lot. Soft attack is probably the most useful one that you could get here. It also increases hard attack. Like, soft attack is pretty much killing dudes. Hard attack is killing, like, tanks and stuff.
Okay, so soft attack. Okay.
Bullets that kill men. Hard attack are like shells that destroy tanks.
So we want, for infantry, we definitely...
Yeah, infantry you would like to have high soft attack. I would put artillery in there. Maybe a second thing of artillery. And then one more infantry. That gets me right up to 20 combat width. That's pretty good for now. And this will cost me 15 army experience. Like,
wait, so how are you doing? How are you changing this? Okay.
Alright, so you... when you are in the... You have the window up that says Division Designer, correct?
Yes.
Alright. So then you click on the plus sign in one of those, like, below those little helmets that you've already got there.
Oh, okay.
And then that will bring up the things that you can add in. Like, you are already at 18. Adding... you may want to... Like, infantry count for 2 combat width, and artillery count for 3. You may want to only take 1 infantry, so that gets you right up to 20. You already have artillery in yours? Or is it only infantry?
I don't know. How do I think
Like,
it's only infantry.
the helmets are the infantry. Like, the little... Like, you'd be able to tell if it's artillery.
Yeah, it's only infantry.
Okay, and you are... You may want to... It'd be fine if you're at 19, I believe... Hold on a second, sorry. Okay. Alright, so... being at 19 combat with is fine. I'd say it's better that you have at least 1 artillery than it is to have... to be 1 artillery and be at like 19 combat with than it is to have...
Well, getting 1 artillery would put me at 21.
Alright, well, you could... If you want to get rid of 1 infantry, then that would probably be fine. Just right-click on an infantry. And then it will bring up the thing, or just click on 1 infantry and then it'll say remove, as opposed to like adding a different one. Also on the right there is support, which right now I've got like engineer company. I could have support anti-air, but I don't need that. But and there's also support artillery, which are not as not as powerful as putting artillery in your regular division thing, but it doesn't take up any combat width. So I'm going to add that in as well. So adding 3... What?
Okay, so I want to swap out an infantry with artillery.
I believe that would be better. That will increase your soft attack by quite a bit.
Okay.
It just makes you far more offensive. It'll make you a little less defensive. Like, basically, a bunch of troops will have the highest organization that it'll have, probably. But just regular dudes aren't very good against tanks. If they don't have anything that can support them, like other tanks, or artillery, or anti-tanks.
Okay. Okay, I think I'm getting that.
Yeah. Alright, that's a pretty important part of it.
Okay, I'll go.
Alright, and you can unpause whenever you want.
Pronto.
So, would it be useful at all to get either?
To get what?
To befriend either Japan or China would it be useful?
I don't know. I don't know if it actually helps. I'd say there are better things to do with it. By the way, very important, go over to China, and go to like central China and click on communist China. Like right click on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you see him?
Yep.
Yep, there's Chairman Mao. Look how handsome he is. That's all. It's just a little bit of a joke in some of the videos. Like he's so sexy. Look at how he's so sexy. You couldn't. Isn't that a face that you would say, man, that guy's not gonna commit like murder on grand scale? All right, so whenever.
Maybe like watch a little bit and see if Mao is successful.
No, it's right now this focus is for the Republic of China.
Yeah.
So just regular China. This is not going to affect communist China at all. It will be amazing if, I don't know what it's like in vanilla, but more than likely it's Japan is going to just take all of China. I've never seen the AI just hold back Japan well enough.
So just keep.
You can keep an eye on it if you'd like. Like if you.
Yeah. So if either of them seems like they might be.
Oh, hold on, and Oh, and yeah, Japan would join the Axis eventually, but you know how things went. I don't know if it'd be that useful.
Fighting the US is usually not.
Yeah, it's not great. They kind of show up and poop on you.
Yep.
Damn them and their freedom. Man, can't I have my freedom and you not have yours? Can't we just agree for you to not agree? Can we just agree that I want my stuff and you can just go away?
I guess I go back to my original
plan
industry.
And build up industry? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
Pronto.
Sounds good.
Attento.
Okay. What's this modify government thing?
Modify government. Alright, so that's a whole other thing. Let's see. So if you click on if you just click on your flag, that'll bring up your political mode. There's laws in government, which has what your conscription laws are at, what your trade laws are, what your economy is, and then you can spend political points to get advisors. This is how before like your DLC would come out, this is how you would change your ideology. Like I've got a guy here, it's Ivano Bonomi, who's a democratic reformer. If I want to say screw you Germany again, I'm gonna go democratic for the first time. I would get this guy, and that will gradually increase support for democracy in my country. Yes, I'm siding with Britain again. Well, bet you didn't see that coming, idiot. So, and that would make it a different way that I would play. But it's pretty basic. There's not really much to it compared to, like right now you could do that thing. You could increase support for democracy, but it's not quite as interesting as having a civil war, getting a focus to have like central allies, things like that. Yeah, it's a very simple thing. More of an afterthought that they thought, I mean, if they want to be democratic Germany, sure they can. And then they realized, oh wow, people really liked the whole alternate history thing. There's also something unique to you is that you've got MIFO bills, which are the primary promissory notes created by Hjalmar Schacht to enable the government to fund rearmament, acting through the balance sheet entity Metallic for this language to hide the disagreement from French and British eyes. These bills must be extended for 6-month periods, or their recipients will have to be paid when they are full due. So I think you basically spend political power in order to make it so you can build factories and forts and stuff really quickly. So that's something you're probably going to want to continue to do.
Okay, so should I put in any of these, like, should I hire any of these big Nazi people?
Let's see. Who are useful things to have? Like are you talking about political advisors or more like...
I'm looking at the political advisors right now.
Okay. Let's see. Like, who would be a good one? Like, I'm just looking at my own dudes. Let's see what you want, what you would have.
What's ideology?
Ideologue? Or...
Ideology drift defense.
Alright, that is if some other country is throwing their ideology your way, that dude stops them. Like, hypothetically, I could... Like, I'll right-click on you, boost party popularity. If I was communist, I could boost party popularity with communism in your country. You would get that guy to stop that from happening.
So, is having someone who increases power...
One more time?
Political power gain, is that a good thing?
That is a good one, yes. That would probably be a good one to get early on.
Okay, so...
That basically would mean... Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I feel like in the vanilla, when they first released this game, they really expected it to be far more multiplayer focused. Well, I mean, like right now, if I was Britain, I could just abandon the faction and then be all like, hey, Germany, I want to be in the Axis. And then Germany, the player, could be all like, yeah, sounds great. We're gonna be friends. I don't care if you're democratic, and you don't care if I'm fascist. But that doesn't really work in, you know. So it's like, if you have a bunch of people playing a bunch of countries, it's pretty much unlimited different scenarios. And no historical thing needs to happen. But most people play this game single player, and turns out. So that's with like all the different focuses in the alternate history stuff. They liked doing that.
Pronto all'azione. Avanzate.
That's what I theorize. I could be entirely wrong.
Okay, what are decisions?
All right, I beat Ethiopia. Now, I know you can't see this, but
I can see stuff happening.
all right. Well, can you see the? I don't think you can see my treaty mode, can you?
I'm in a treaty of Addis
Oh, you can see it. Okay.
Ababa.
All right. So.
So it says it's Italy's.
Yeah, it's Italy's treaty here that I'm doing because I beat Ethiopia. So proud of myself. Wow, look at me. I'm a colonizer. Let's be a little weird. And let's make him a puppet instead. Be a little unusual. So here I've made Ethiopia my puppet. The governorate of Ethiopia. Cool. What was that?
I was just reading. Okay, so now they're fascist.
Yes, they are. I created a puppet in Ethiopia, and now they will be creating troops. They will give me manpower, and I think I have pretty much total access
Pronto all'azione.
to their resources.
Sì, signore. Comandi.
Let's see. There we go. Alright, for some reason it took forever for my things to happen. Okay then. Very neat. So resources now.
You're lagging, so I'm gonna pause it for a bit.
Okay.
So, what exactly do you get from them being a pup?
So now they give me manpower. A little. They give me a percentage of their manpower, and also they will be making troops themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And also, let's see. All right. I am getting like I think I get priority when it comes to getting their resources, but I mean, I think it's probably more efficient if you want a resource, you should take the land yourself. If there's no particular resource that you want, then it's generally better to puppet them because they give you some manpower and they will start fighting as well.
Okay, so if you want resource, you take land. If you want troops, you make them up.
Probably, yes. And even if you do make them a puppet, I think they give you resources at a much better rate. A much better deal than if you were trading with them. Like, they will give you like 5-10 times as much of the same resource than if you were trading with them. So it's almost free as if you owned it yourself. So puppeting is like 90% of the time the better idea, tactically. But if you want to be a big colonial power, you generally want to take it yourself. It actually probably would have been a better idea, considering the only thing this gives me taking Ethiopia is like 3 rubber. It's probably better to have just taken the land yourself. But I just felt like puppeting them because I've never done that before. I've never actually seen that happen. Governorate of Ethiopia.
A bunch of stuff just popped up.
Okay.
Like a bunch of alerts I want to deal with. Okay, so for the modified government, like, what do you think I should focus on?
Modified government. What specifically are you talking about?
Like, yeah, like which one of these?
Like if you want to do mobilization or change exports?
No, the thing with the with like the laws and government, research and production.
Research and production. Hold on, I'm just trying to picture what tab you're looking at.
I clicked the flag.
Okay. Alright, so right now, if you've got political power, and you already got the guy that gives you more political power, Captain of Industry is always... actually, hold on. War Industrialist is a good one. That makes... You can build military factories sooner. Like, faster.
What about these other things?
The ones below them, research and production.
Yeah.
Those, like, right now, I only have, say... You probably have more options, but... Tank designer, ship designer... aircraft carrier, like all those things are good if you can afford them. If you're not spending your points on anything else, it's always good to get one of those. Like and especially if you don't have a choice. Like right now, if I had the power, I only have the X option for Fiat as a tank designer. That would make my research speed faster and armor reliability increase. So that's pretty nice. I've only got 1 ship designer. I've got 4 aircraft designers, so I would need to choose between which of those I would want. Material designer, I've got 3 of. I've got 1 industrial concern, so that would always be a nice one. Theorist, it depends on what I wanted. These are all theorists. So yeah, those, like, look and see what they have. I probably would want to do a land theorist, personally. Those would be good. Military staff. You have a list of military staff in the farthest at the bottom there. You can have 3 of any of these guys. Probably, like, infantry specialist is probably a good one. You would probably want something that would do tanks as well, like tank speed or whatever. Yeah, if you have any questions specifically of what I think would be better of one versus another, let me know. But if you have the points and you don't have to spend them on anything else, getting dudes in your laws and government, research and production, or military staff are all a good idea.
Okay, and what are decisions?
Decisions. So those are kind of one-off things that you can spend points for, and they could give you one thing or another. Like promises of peace. That increases my stability, and stability increases political power, decreases consumer goods factories, factories and dockyards output more. So that's all good stuff. But promises of peace also decreases political power gain for 90 days and decreases war support, which you don't want to do that. War support's good because war support allows us to mobilize faster, fight, attack and defend in core territory better, and you get command power more. There's command power, that's something else. So we'll get to that later eventually, maybe. And ban communism. That's decreases the support for communism, but it also decreases stability, so that may not be worth it. Right now I'm doing war propaganda against Ethiopia. Well, I mean, I finished fighting Ethiopia before the war propaganda finished, so now I'm currently doing war propaganda against my puppet, but whatever. It's giving me, I just spent points to increase war support, so that was nice. War propaganda in general is not too bad to do if you want to spend it, but world tension is not high enough.
So generally, so if hiring Goebel, give him plus to.
He does what? He gives you plus to what?
Plus 10% war support.
Yeah, that's always good, generally. If you're not already at like 100% or 95%.
How do I see what mine is?
It's at the top. Like, there's political power next to your flag, next to that is stability, next to that is war support, then manpower, then factories, fuel, convoys.
Mine's only at 41%.
Okay. Yeah. And if you declare an offensive war, that will decrease war support. If war is declared upon you, that will increase war support. Naturally, if someone sees you as being a needless aggressor, they're not going to support what you're doing, but if you're defending yourself against someone else attacking you, your people are more likely to come to your aid.
Okay, that makes sense.
So having some war support ahead of time, that will, because you're going to be declaring war, probably not a bad idea. So if you could always have 100% stability and 100% war support, that would be cool. It's never going to be that way, but as high as you can make them, excellent. All right, I'm ready on pause when you are.
Okay. There you go. Okay, so fuel.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do about that?
So that is so you have like a constant intake of fuel that you have number of sources of that. If you have too much stuff that you're using and too little fuel, your what uses fuel will not work as well. So it's always good to have plenty of gasoline.
So that would be building fuel silos?
Yes, but that probably won't be enough considering how many tanks you're going to need. You may want to do something like, I don't know, invade the Soviet Union. You know, worst case scenario.
What? Okay, let's see. Okay, never mind.
Like, the most oil in the entire world is in the Caucasus. Like, if you... Like, in the far right, it's that sort of rectangular box. There is a little button that is below the little fire and above the railroad tracks. That will bring up the resource map. Like, Azerbaijan has 98 oil. That's a lot.
Ooh, wow.
For reference, like, southwestern Iran has 42. There's more oil in Azerbaijan than there is in all of Iran. Saudi Arabia only has 3.
Don't call it the land of fire.
Yeah. The Empire of Fire is what the country is called if it's fascist.
Well, that's not too different from its normal.
Yep. It's lit, fam.
I'm gonna build a few silos in place.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me Azerbaijan. Montenegro has a lot of aluminum. A lot of chromium in Macedonia. Wait, you think you're getting the hang of it?
I think so.
Pronto.
Alright. Now that you have that good template, it's probably a good idea to start building more units. So you can do your Anschluss and also attack people. So what you would want to do is that you would want to choose the train thing. When you, like, where you were editing before, you would want to click train.
Okay, wait, hold on. So,
Alright, I'm not Germany. What the hell am I doing?
okay, so my guys are still drilling. How do I tell when
You can tell them
our
to stop
regulars-
Attento.
by clicking on the army and then clicking on the button, exercise button on the far left again. And that will have them stop.
Okay, and regular is like the highest.
Regular is the highest that you can get by drilling. They can become seasoned or veterans if they don't die too much while they're doing actual fighting.
Okay, so let's see. Said go to train.
Yes. And then you can, that'll bring up, then click on that sort of a button underneath the name, like the thing showed up on the left, and then you can click what
Yeah.
province you want them to be built in, and then you click on that, and then it will start to drain your equipment and manpower and put them into a unit. And you could hypothetically just make, once they have 20% of their, once they're 20% trained, they can be deployed, but they will be very green and very weak units. So that's generally not the best thing to do. Unless you really need bodies right now, regardless of whether there are any use of or not as soldiers. And it will slowly train them up, and they will eventually become regular units. Alright, and you were going to want to push add unit in order to get more kind of going at the same time in the same location. You don't need to make like a bunch of, you don't need to build a bunch in just like all over your country. You can just do one in the same one.
How many should I build?
Many as you'd like, enough maybe to make Austria be willing to be annexed.
Okay, let's see. That was national.
Sì, signore.
Okay, so it says, let's see. Need 55,000. How do I tell how many I have in the field? Oh, no, never mind, I see.
Pronto, signore.
That's a bunch.
Cool.
Well, I guess I might as well get started.
Pronto, signore. Ordini? Pronto. Ordini? Ordini?
And I should just be building infantry.
For now, infantry is probably good. As it goes on later, you may want to start building more panzers. Like, light tanks is probably good, you know, just kind of rush through the line. Like
But for now, I just want infantry.
Yeah, right now you pretty much just want bodies. Some people do little tricks that they just don't, like, they barely even train the troops that they get so that they can get to the Anschluss sooner. But that's not really that necessary right now.
So as a captain of industry,
Captain of Industry. I'd say the War Industrialist is more useful.
okay, so I should just save up for that.
Yeah. They're both alright, but I'd say War Industrialist is more important.
Okay, so like, what are land forts?
One more time?
Land forts.
Land forts. That makes it so that it's more difficult for a unit to be defeated if they're fighting in that province. So that's probably not something that you need to be worrying about quite yet. It's like,
Well, I'm getting a bunch of them from the focus.
oh yeah, I mean, if it'll do it automatically, that's fine. It's like, if you click on Alsace-Lorraine, you can, and you look in the left corner of the thing that popped up, the Maginot Line is 10 forts, 10 out of 10 possible forts, so that's pretty much an idea of what it would be like.
Okay.
Because we're going to be the offender, it may not be that necessary to do that. We just want to push through the Benelux, get right to Paris.
Well, I figured getting a bunch of forts opposite that for a bad idea.
Alright.
It says add 12 land forts on the.
Yeah, that seems solid.
So, like, what interactions do you have with
With who?
a puppet?
Not quite as many without the DLC. They're pretty much just like, right now, I could perform paramilitary training in the government of Ethiopia, which would get them army experience and make them more fascist, which is not too important. That's with the DLC, there are different levels of autonomy that if it's so low, eventually they're just annexed. If it gets too high, they can break free. But
That sounds interesting.
yeah, it is. It's a neat little thing that you would definitely play with if you're DLC is focused on the Commonwealth and all of those countries. So that's important there. There are a lot of things in the focus trees for Australia, Canada, the British Raj that allow them to gain autonomy. And the new focus tree for Britain also makes it also plays into that as well. Like there are some things that can grant them, some focuses that can grant them autonomy, some that I think make them like you more, so they're less likely to want to become independent. So I was playing Stellaris the other day, and you start off with a number of spaceships, and they pretty much have just a bunch of random names. So I have 3 I have a couple ships, like science ships, engineer ships that one of the science ships that I got was called the Copernicus, good name for a science ship. The second one I built was Hubble, also a great name. The names for my warships, not as much. Like one was named after an Assyrian queen, an ancient Assyrian queen, which is good enough.
Which one?
I forget the name. I don't know. What do I want to do next? You want to befriend or go to war? All right, I'll deal with that later. I'll do war in this industrial effort. It's like there is one that was named after an Assyrian queen. There is one that was called the Dervish, so a Sufi priest. Sure. The third one was called John Paul Jones. Great, yeah, thanks. Yeah, when I think of my warships, I absolutely think of the bassist for Led Zeppelin. All right,
Well, who doesn't?
and even worse, the name of the class for the ship, the Walrus class. Come on. Of all the animals, a walrus. Not a lion, not an eagle, a walrus. Nothing screams the pride of humanity quite like the Walrus class corvettes. I renamed those real quick. Oh, what are you doing there? National Spain declared war on Spain. Spanish Civil War. So we can gain some stuff if we help out the fascists here. This will probably take a while as well. And we could send volunteers. Which is, and that will actually help you with a little bit of the combat. So if you right-click on Nationalist Spain, and then click on, where is it? Send volunteers, which is kind of towards the bottom, but not right at the bottom. It will say that you could send a certain number of divisions, probably no more than like 3 or 4. So if you make an army of that number of divisions, put a good general in charge, like give them Rommel or whatever, then you can send them, and then you could they will appear on their side, and you can manually control them, and you could help fight those accursed democratic or communist guys. How dare they want to rule themselves fairly? If you want to.
How do I remove something from an army?
So you just click the divisions that you want, and then you can make a new army, and they'll appear in that one.
Okay. And then
So it'd be good to give yourself, take some panzers and send them over. Because this is mostly going to be like infantry combat. Some tanks would be very nice here.
Okay, so where are my panzers?
Pronto, signore.
So, oh, do I only have 3? I only have 3 panzers.
Okay. We might not even be able to send more than that. You might only be able to send 2 for all I know.
I can send 2.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna send some myself. Let's see, do I want...
Ordini?
You said Rommel?
If you want, or whoever. I think Rommel already has benefits to Panzers.
Attento.
I'm gonna send a couple of my dudes.
Oh yeah, he does.
Pronto all'azione. Attento.
So then, let's see, send volunteer. Okay, so I sent the volunteers. Now,
Alright, so they should be en route. My dudes will get there the 31st of August. I'm guessing your guys will be there a little bit before or after, depending on when you did that.
okay, mine will be there on August 3rd.
Cool.
And you said the War Industrialist was good?
Yeah, I just got one myself.
Pronto, signore. Pronto. Comandi. Attento. Comandi.
So if you would like, you could try out doing the whole frontline thing, but you've got so few troops that it really doesn't matter. It'd be better off that you actually just manually move them around. So the way combat works in this game is that it's basically a tug of war. That you have a unit moving, pushing against another, and there are a number of modifiers that are taken into account. The strength of one, the strength of the other, outside things such as the terrain, air defense, things like that, air support.
Okay, so
and it's like
how do
the offender needs to get to 100, and that will push the division in that province back, and that your guys will take theirs. Will take that one.
Okay, say that again.
Okay, so it's like a tug of war. That the one that is attacking needs to get 100 of the whatever 100% towards defeating them. And where are my guys?
So where do I want to move my panzers?
Wherever.
Comandi.
I'm just gonna go help out, take this little holdout in the north. So I'm like, a little bubble show up, and you want that one to be green and get it up to 100, and it gradually moves higher up if you are winning combat. If you are losing the combat, or if it's a stalemate, it will not move, or it will go down, depending on how well you're fighting against the dudes. And once it reaches 100, the units are pushed back, or if they don't have anywhere to go, they are like, you see that little green bubble? Yeah. We're about to win this one, and this guy is going to be defeated. He will be pushed to farther inland, and that will be, and then they will be encircled and then obliterated once we take that other one. If you click on it, the little bubble, it'll show you the details. And just if it is green, then you are picking away at them, whether they are attacking you or you are attacking them. Green, good. Green means go. Alright, yep, see, we take it. And now those guys moved into that, and now these dudes are surrounded. They have no support. They're being starved out. And we are gonna encircle them and get rid of them. So now if you imagine that you are controlling all of Spain's dudes, this is what combat is like.
Okay.
You will not be moving them around manually most times. There are instances in which moving troops individually is useful, but that would be way too much stuff to do because you have so many, and you're generally going to be fighting on pretty long lines, especially once you get to fighting the Soviets. That it's going to be a lot, like more than you can handle manually. So that's why you have the automatic frontline movement.
And we want that little green.
We want that little bubble to be green and to reach 100. That means that we win. That we win that engagement. So every combat is basically just wearing down your opponent. And see, they're gone. I'm gonna go to... Where do I want to go to? I'm gonna go to Tortosa on the east coast. See if I can cut their line in half. You can go wherever you want. You can go to the same place as me or just push anywhere.
Sì, signore. Attento.
See, right now I've got a little red bubble, which means that this fight is not going well. I may not want to stick around here very long. Oh, no, it's turning yellow. And then it went back to red. Now it's back to yellow. Now it's green. Now it's yellow. Now green. So maybe there is a point for me to stick here. Maybe. Actually.
Andiamo! Avanzate!
I think I've found a gap where they don't have any troops. I'm gonna try and exploit that. Try and divide their lines a little bit.
So we want to try and slip in places.
Continuate la...
That would be a good idea. So that we can at least divide where they're focusing. And just everywhere we can get a flank on somebody, the better.
Forza, forza! Pronto! Avanzate!
And the little green bar of a division is the morale, the little orange bar is their supply. So, once the green bar is at 0, they gotta run away. Once, and the lower that orange bar, the worse they're going to be fighting. Pretty much. So right now, my morale is pretty high, and my
Non fermatevi!
my supply is maxed out versus the Spanish troops that I'm fighting against. Their supply is just about halfway gone, so we are fighting them better.
So I'm wasting my time by coming to help you.
I mean, you could certainly make this go faster. If you would like to help, I would appreciate it. But if you find somewhere that's good to attack, you can go ahead and do that too. Oh, wait, are you already in this? Yep, you're already here. So yeah, this fight's going pretty well. Taking Valencia would be pretty nice. Yeah, there we go.
Avanzate!
Gonna rush right into Valencia. They've got no morale. I'm gonna see if I can, how far I can go along the coast before. Oh, also taking this airport would be really nice because they actually do have air support right now. Don't know how many other airports they have, but hopefully that completely got rid of their air stuff.
You said you wanted to march along the...
Yes. I'm gonna see if I can take Alicante. I'm gonna make sure that I don't get too out of position though. Like if I get attacked,
Pronto!
like if somebody starts attacking me from behind, I don't want to get encircled.
Avanzate!
Alright. You want to move south to take that dude, that one guy there? That'd be pretty good.
Oh, I can align Hungary.
Yeah, that's a good one. Gotta make
Which
them.
one?
Yeah.
Does it matter?
What?
Does it matter which one?
You can do both, just not at the same time. Alright, do you want to...
Yeah, so does it matter which one I do first?
Nah, doesn't matter. I'd probably do Hungary because you're at least closer to them. Hey, send one of your tanks to go take that airport.
Which airport? Oh.
One to your west.
Okay. Why don't I just move both of them there?
Okay, fine.
That seems easier.
And now move back. Because dude's trying to take that.
I saw.
Alright, how's your fight going?
I'm winning.
Okay. I'm winning, but it's only at 50.
Andiamo! Andiamo!
Would you like to turn the speed up by 1? Cool. Here we go. All right. We took another city. And we took Tortosa in the north.
Ordini? Pronto! Avanzate! Avanti! Ordini?
So how can we tell when this war's over?
It will end. The way that a thing ends, a war ends because they lose enough of their war, like control points. Like Madrid is worth a lot. Other cities are worth stuff.
Avanzate! Avanti!
Well, like, can we like see like what essentially the score is?
I don't think we can because we're volunteers. We can actually hold on, let me see. I don't think we can right now. If it was in a war that we were like formally part of, we would be able to see how close they are to capitulating.
Pronto all'azione! Non fermatevi!
If you want to attack the, if you want to enclose that sort of encirclement to the north, that'd be pretty nice.
What?
Like there are those that sort of section of the Republican troops that if you were to punch through somewhere, you would get them surrounded. That would be a good place to work on.
Li respingiamo, signore. Attento. Pronto. Forza, forza! Sì, signore. Attento. Pronto all'azione. Non fermatevi! Continuate l'attacco! Avanzate! Avanzate! Pronto, signore. Comandi.
Okay, so what do the little bars mean again?
The little bars. So the green one is morale, and the orange one is supply. Is like how much equipment they have. There's their fighting strength, which is generally determined by how many guns they have.
Continuate l'attacco. Avanzate. Avanzate.
Okay, so I aligned Hungary.
Nice. Or you are aligning Hungary. They are going to steadily be getting more fascist support, and they will flip over eventually.
Okay, so then I can do the same thing.
Yep, same thing with Romania. And if you choose, you can do the same thing to like... And who else can you do it to? If you go down a certain branch of the tree, you can do it to... Poland. You can do it to Denmark, Norway, Netherlands, Sweden. By that point, the Brits would probably start attacking you instead of the other way around.
Ordini. Avanzate. Avanzate! Ripiegate! Forza, forza! Avanzate! Sì, signore. Pronto all'azione.
Hmm. Ooh, nice. Got Malaga. That's excellent. They are now fully encircled. Their entire front. They don't have access to the sea.
Well, it looked like a nice target.
Yeah.
Formazione. Avanzate! Pronto!
Oh, those guys that were training. What do I do about them?
And you can put them in an army.
Do
Or,
they just pop up normally when they're done?
Yeah, they'll just show up in the province that you told them to. Well, I'm not even making artillery. Forgot to do that. Yeah, you're probably gonna want to make artillery if you have not already done that. Like, have them being made. Like, along with the guns and support equipment and stuff.
Make artillery?
Yeah, towed artillery.
How do I make artillery?
Alright, so in your production thing, there's like guns, support equipment, light tanks, you see all that. You would want to go to the thing where it says military factories. Under that, there are 3 buttons. The one on the far left is build infantry and artillery equipment. Click that, and then you are going to want to choose the towed artillery.
Sì, signore. Attento.
Okay, so let's see. Production.
And you should move
Towed
it to the
artillery.
top so that's a higher priority. Not to the very top maybe, but pretty close to the
It's
top.
number 3, so okay, so what do I do?
Alright, you have it in that tab like it's next to the rifle and stuff.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so, and you are going to want to assign military factories for it so that it will start building towed artillery. And I would suggest that you move it up to the top so that it is a higher priority, just so you can keep an eye on it better, I guess.
Sì, signore. Comandi. Continuate l'attacco. Sì, signore. Andiamo! Li respingiamo, signore!
Okay, so how do I make it? Okay, so it's I can see it. I've got factories around to making or reinforcing.
All right, yeah. So that number in the near the picture, like there should be like needed reinforcement thing,
Yeah.
is probably it should be going down now. And it's saying like for me, I've got 5 factories, and it says it's making 1.76 a day. 1.95 now. I'm sure you're making more though.
Formazione.
2.15.
Yeah, there you go. There's literally nothing the Germans are not better than the Italians at. Literally nothing.
So I'm aligning. Okay, I'm aligning Hungary.
You did Hungary.
and
You're working.
Romania.
Okay.
Li respingiamo, signore!
Ah, juicy encirclement you've got right there.
Li respingiamo, signore! Avanzate! Continuate l'attacco! Ordini! Non fermatevi! Avanzate! Attento! Sì, signore! Ordini? Pronto, signore! Attento! Comandi! Avanzate! Avanzate!
Oh, we're encircling some Soviets too. That'll teach them to try and help people. From this day forward, they're never gonna help anyone again. That's almost certain.
Well, in real life,
Refused what?
they refused to help the Spanish communists.
Oh, well. That's right,
What
yeah.
was it Steve was saying? They didn't think they were advanced.
Advanced enough in the communist thingamajigger?
Yeah.
Of course. You know what's even less advanced? Being killed by fascists.
Attento.
So, like, are they actually losing?
Are they losing what?
They actually like losing troops?
Yeah, that division will die.
Pronto.
Like, yeah, we encircled them and now they are dead.
Avanzate.
But do they only like die if we encircle?
If they were to completely lose this and they are volunteering, I'm pretty sure there's no way they would not die.
Attento. Avanzate. Andiamo. Avanzate. Attento.
People keep fighting a long time.
Yeah.
Sì, signore.
Oh, we're about to get another encirclement. Lovely. Oh, and then some of them got away. Oh well, we got 4 divisions here about to snack on.
Avanzate. Andiamo. Formazione. Pronto. Formazione.
And I'm squishing some Republicans up against the French border.
Avanti. Li respingiamo, signore.
Well, I'm almost at Toledo.
Very nice.
Attento.
And there's China fighting one of their warlords.
Well, hold on. Sorry. A couple stuff just popped up.
And Japan's going to be declaring war on China pretty shortly. Gonna do the Marco Polo Bridge incident. Oh wait, no, Japan does have their good tree. They actually did add that in a patch.
Okay, so we got Toledo.
Very cool. Or, okay, no, they have part of their tree. Okay. That's interesting. Some of the Japanese focus tree was added in a patch, and some of it was added in DLC. So, like, if you go to Japan and take a look at their tree,
How do I take a look at other people's trees?
you just right-click on them and then click on the thing that says, "Oh, Hindenburg exploded," and click on Marco Polo Bridge incident, and that'll show you the tree. Like right here, they have the choice between staying fascist or going to non-aligned. The DLC adds trees for becoming democratic or becoming communist.
Pronto. Comandi. Pronto all'azione. Ritirata. Formazione.
Well, we're slowly getting there.
Yeah. And the northeast is almost finished as well. Only 2 little tiles left. One of which is Barcelona. Barcelona.
Andiamo. Abortire. Continuate ad avanzare. Avanzate. Ordini.
Italian highways focused finished. They're made out of pepperoni.
Formazione.
Got Madrid encircled.
Yeah.
They're holding on, but not by much. Alright, yeah, this is almost over. I'm guessing we take Madrid and it'll be done.
If we can take Madrid.
Oh yeah, we will. They're encircled. They're starving. Remember how there were like 5 dudes in there about 5 seconds ago? Remember how there were 3 dudes here like 2 seconds ago? Madrid's only being defended by a couple commies from the Soviet Union. Yeah, one of my tanks is a veteran. That's awesome.
Avanzate.
My panzers are.
Yeah, very nice. Why skulls?
Because they've seen a lot of dead?
Ti respingiamo, signore!
Yes, but isn't that what the baddies would do? What's up, Jackies? Yeah, are we the baddies? He knows the reference.
Forza, forza!
Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah, we'll have it very soon.
Ordini? Sì, signore. Pronto all'azione.
Okay.
There we go. And they did. And we're getting teleported back home. End of the Spanish Civil War, as it always is.
So now can we do anything with Franco?
Right now, because the war is over, he got this little thing that's this little national spirit called Recovering from Civil War, which means they are not going to join us until like 1942 or something, 46 maybe even. So he's pretty much worthless for a good while, unless, I mean, there is something in my focus tree that I could start my own faction, and I could ask Franco to join me, but I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Hey, Amelia Earhart didn't die. Hindenburg exploded and Amelia Earhart survived. This is the best timeline.
Okay, so how do I increase manpower?
You would need to change your conscription laws. Right? How much manpower do you have right now?
Pronto all'azione.
Free or used?
Pronto all'azione.
Free.
1.24 M.
Alright, that's still pretty good. You don't need to change your laws yet. Hey, the purge to the Soviet Union. Japan's got their war declared upon the other guys. What happened to peace in our time? No one said that yet, but soon. Oh, and the Greater Southeast Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere does exist. That's Japan's own faction, so they actually... So yeah, they don't actually join the Axis. They can just kind of be like... acquaintances. You know, war acquaintances, not war
What was
buddies. What?
I just missed that little pop-up thing. What was
Oh,
it?
they declared war on China.
No, the little newspaper thing.
Which one?
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah. They declared war on China. Chinese United Front. So now all of China has joined the
Whoa.
Chinese United Front. Trying to defend against... Wait, and Shen Shi actually joined Japan, which is kind of interesting. You don't actually see that very often, from what I understand, in historical. Da, 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 na, 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 na.
Ooh, free civilian factories. That sounds good.
Attento.
Yeah. I just put a bunch more working on even more military factories.
Okay, so you said change conscription?
If you really, I mean, you've got 1 million right now. That's still pretty good. You would have to spend some points to change conscription. Are you at limited conscription?
Yes.
Alright, you would want to go up to extensive. That's 150 political power to do that. If you really want to increase it. Though it does increase the time it takes to train units. So I would suggest not doing it for a while. So train as many units as you want first, then maybe consider doing extensive.
Pronto all'azione. Comandi. Sì, signore. Pronto. Sì, signore.
So about what time do you think you want to go until?
I don't know.
Because it's just past 9.
What's organization?
Organization, it's basically morale.
So, what's better, attack or organization?
What unit are we talking about?
I'm hiring a chief of army.
I'd say go attack. You're gonna be blitzkrieging, no, don't give them a chance to shoot back.
Oh wow. I have 100% fascist.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, you got rid of all that pretty quickly. You can probably change your dude then.
I still don't have much for war, so...
Okay.
So, what's this national spirit?
Alright, your national, which one?
I'm just, like, in general, what is national spirit?
It's basically just a modifier that's, does stuff for your country. That sometimes you can add some, like you added autarky, Grove general staff. Bitter loser is one that you can get rid of that one and it is replaced by another one, but not until you've already beat like France and Britain.
Pronto. Attento. Pronto, signore. Formazione. Pronto, signore. Pronto, signore. Sì, signore. Attento.
So what's the difference between these two industries?
What two industries?
Pronto.
dispersed and concentrated industry.
So dispersed is it's like, all right. So let's look here. So concentrated it increases the factory output, factory and dockyard output, but dispersed makes it so that when you change, okay, so everything that you're building has a production efficiency. When you change what you're producing, or you add another factory to producing it, it decreases the efficiency. Dispersed makes it so that it doesn't decrease as much.
Okay, so say that again.
All right, so dispersed industry makes it so that when you change something up with what you're producing, it does not decrease how efficient it is by quite as much. And they're also safer from being bombed. Best case scenario, you never get bombed. So I generally don't even consider that. I pretty much always go concentrated.
Pronto all'azione. Pronto, signore. Formazione. Formazione. Avanzate. Sì, signore. Pronto, signore. Attento. Pronto, signore. Pronto all'azione. Ordini?
So what do you think about the game so far?
I think I'm liking it now that I. This definitely seems like it would be really fun to.
Cut out? What was that?
So this definitely seems like it would be really fun to.
Multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Romania went fascist.
Neat.
What can I do with them now?
See if you can invite Hungary and Romania to the faction.
No. They have a neutral foreign policy.
Alright.
How do we change that?
I don't know.
Relation?
That's kind of strange. Well, try it with Hungary first.
It'd be easier to get Romania.
Really?
Yeah, I'm much closer to Romania than.
Maybe try improving relations with them?
Let's give it a shot. What about guaranteeing their independence? Think that would help?
Maybe.
Pronto all'azione. Sì,
You know,
signore.
maybe a non-aggression pact. That'd probably be a good place to start.
Yeah.
see about Hungary. Yeah, they'll do that too. Oh, Romania will join now.
There you go.
Hungary has a strategic reasons not to ally the German Reich.
Huh. What do you think about doing the Anschluss?
I've been having trouble making the troops, so
Really? How so?
it took me a while to get the artillery.
Okay.
Sì, signore. Attento. Sì, signore. Ordini. Pronto all'azione. Pronto all'azione. Ordini. Pronto, signore. Attento. Attento. Avanzate. Comandi. 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 Pronto all'azione. Attento. 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 Formazione. Pronto, signore. Pronto all'azione. Comandi. Pronto.
Legionary Romania.
Yep. Every country gets a different name.
Except for Hungary, who's just Hungary.
Hmm. I think, did they start as Kingdom of Hungary? Or did they start with fascist? I don't know.
Sì, signore.
So think Romania will
One more time?
think having Romania will actually be
They won't make a difference at all. Like, they're whatever.
okay.
Attento.
I mean, they make a little difference, I suppose.
Formazione.
But, you know,
I don't need to keep improving relations with
not for too long.
Attento. Ordini. Pronto, signore. Formazione.
Like, I mean, if they are in your faction, if you get what they want, then it's fine. You can... they're fine with what they've got.
Pronto, signore.
Ooh, extra resource. That sounds like a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Sì, signore. Formazione.
Hey, new tap, how's it going, man? Explain what this game is like. It's like EU4, but very, very almost. It's like 70. It's like 80% war. It's more complex combat-related stuff.
Pronto, signore.
Engineering still doesn't want to know that. Sure, radar or whatever. Yep, I'm playing as Italy right now. Just helping out my friend Chris, who got the game not too long ago. Just helping him do the whole, you know, getting him used to the game.
What is command power?
Command power is a thing that your generals can use when they're in combat. And see, I don't even know. Like the command power might not even do anything without the DLC. Like they added in the patch, but I don't know if it actually does anything in combat. Like it doesn't do anything without it.
Attento. Attento. Sì, signore. Attento.
Command mana, yes, exactly.
Pronto all'azione.
Oh, what's up, Wise the Chosen? No, I would not say this game is easier than learning EU4.
Pronto, signore. Pronto all'azione. Pronto, signore. Sì, signore. Attento. Attento. Avanzate. Attento. Pronto all'azione. Ordini?
And keep in mind that as Germany, the longer you give the Allies to build up, the more difficult it will be.
Uh-huh.
So, actually starting to do some aggressive stuff sooner may be a good idea. You want to befriend or... you know, I think, how much more do you think you would need help with? Like, you think you've got this?
I think I'm starting to get it.
Okay. Alright, because I think I'm just about done for the night. I hope I was able to help out.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense now.
So the only thing that I think you really could use... Do you think you're going to continue on with this one after we're done here, or you want to try out, or do you want to try something else?
I would probably try something on my...
Okay, so let's see...
But I wouldn't mind playing this one with you again.
I don't know, I mean, I've kind of already played Italy a bunch. Well, not a bunch, I mean, I played as Italy. I don't know if I'd want to actually have Ethiopia as a vassal, as a puppet like this. Maybe?
Comandi.
I don't know, I feel like I'd want to do something other than just playing as Italy.
Attento. Sì, signore.
Is that, I feel like if we were to do actually continue multiplayer, it'd probably be better to, it'd be more interesting to do stuff with the DLC.
Fair.
Because then you can see all the weird stuff that can happen in this game. With the historical focus off.
Mm-hmm.
And see like Australia become fascist, Canada become communist, Mexico go well, yeah, I mean Mexico's already non-aligned, but you know, Mexico can do quite a few different paths with their tree. It's a weird thing that the Netherlands can like steal the German troops. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. It's strange. All right, so I think you can keep this save, and if you wanna keep doing this, then yeah. But so I suggest you just maybe with this file, just go to war with somebody, see how it looks, and just don't take it too seriously, because you might not know what you're doing. Just remember, it's the thing with the front lines that we still haven't really touched on. That is like the main thing. You've gotten everything other than that, just about, other than naval, and I don't even know what the hell that is. I have not done anything with Navy stuff yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I think that'll be it for me for now. I may stream something else later, but I want to take a break for the moment, at least. So it'll probably be Stellaris if I do want to do something, or maybe some Sega Genesis games. I don't know. Maybe nothing. I want to watch my anime that I recorded from yesterday. So, what was that?
So on weeks we don't hear from Steve.
Now we could do something. Well, we may do this. We could start. It'd be kind of cool to do something sort of wacky for the for multiplayer. Rather, yeah, we'll see.
Sure.
So,
if you think of something, let me know.
Yeah, get this. 2 Spains, Republican Nationalist friends. I don't even know if that would work.
Even work.
I don't think it would, but it'd be funny if it could. I'd like to see if it could, like if they could just do White Peace or something. So until next time, thank you guys very much for joining me. Rock over London, rock on Chicago. I'm Cyrock Omega, and have a nice day. Later.